2 years ago, back behind the church, at the north end of the church here, there was an entity, let's say, okay, a spirit, very real looking, just like I'm standing here with you people. I went up to get the gas cans out of our shed up here to go get gas. I jumped in the car, and there was a lady behind the church, and she was looking for something. And I thought, well, that's kind of odd. I just went up to the corner here and turned around. Well, less than, well, be a minute, 2 minutes, at the very most. She's gone. I drove through here because I was wondering, where the heck did she go? And she's nowhere to be seen. Anyways, there was a cemetery board meeting a month later, and the other fellow who's in charge here was at the meeting, and somehow they got on to the topic of the ghost of Barbara Heck. And the fellow described the woman, and the other person says, well, that's the one I saw. And he described her in detail, the same person. But my contention is not Barbara Heck. She was dark-haired, or brownish-haired. This lady was blonde. And there's a story about a fellow that's buried in here, but we don't know where the grave is. The stone is buried down in the grave also. It's with him. And there's a poem on it to his wife, who was killed on her way up here from the 13 colonies just after the American Revolution. And she was killed in a massacre, mostly by Indians apparently. And he had something to do with the rescue of a lot of the people. But anyways, she was killed, and when he died, or before he died, he had a poem engraved on a stone, and it's to her, and it's buried down in the grave with the person also, as I mentioned. My contention is he's up here at the north end of the church. Now, there was another church on the site at one time, a much larger church than what's here now, but it burnt. But I still think that he's in one of the plots back here in our old section.
Do we have a name of the gentleman?
Yeah, he's in the book. I think he might have been a Breckenridge, but I just can't recall. It's in our book up here, just who the fellow was. And he was an officer. And anyways, as I say, he's a lost grave. I don't know why they never put the stone on top of the surface, but it was buried apparently with him. My contention is that that's his wife, and she's attempting to find the grave where he is. Now, the other story is that it's a woman who's trying to find her children, but again, you know, it's up for debate just who it is. I think it's his wife, myself. It sort of fits. And I've documented and mapped approximately 35 burials here that are not recorded anymore. The stones are missing, people get forgotten, and the stones are in the ground, maybe underneath the ground. And I've documented about, 35 out of 40 missing graves, so I'm getting there. But there could be many more in here because the grave site is so old. It goes back into the 1700s, so there could very well be more burials in here than what we know. And we have stumbled on some that are totally out of the blue. Nobody knew they were there, but they were. But anyways, we try not to do too many burials in here because you never know what you're going to find. Mm-hmm. So we limit it here to maybe cremations because you don't have to get down very deep. For full burial, well, it's risky. So I can take you up to another place up here, and there's a burial site there, and the stones are now at Sandy Hill Cemetery for some reason or other, but the burials are here because it was the Jessops. And the Jessup stones, all but one, belong here, and maybe someday we'll get them back here. But if you want, I'll show you the spot up here.
Sure.
And there's a child and children with her. And they wouldn't move it too far, so I think that's them. And Barbara was put in the grave site there with her family. So back in those days, I guess there wasn't a conscience of, moving somebody, you know, disinterring them. So right in here, I'll just put this away. Right in here, we feel is the burial site of the Jessup family, or most of the Jessup family, because the elder one's buried in Sandy Hill and Prescott. So what I'm going to, I better start the other end. Sometimes, if you get a double grave, instead of being 4 feet deep, double. We have 2 double graves in there, 3 singles.
And all these stones has been moved to the Sandy Hill.
And the Sandy Hill, for reference, is the one at Prescott, because we do have a Sandy Hill in Ottawa too as well.
Yeah. If you want to go up there after this,
Yes,
we're going to take a scoop there.
Yeah, because you mentioned
A lot of history there.
A lot of the children that are buried on our graves.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a pauper's grave area too. So anyways, in here we have 2 double burials and 3 singles. Now if it would have come out a little farther, I think there's some more here, but I'm just doing those. So they go back quite a ways. They go back American Revolution period, just after, because they came out of the States and they were buried here. But again, that's another lost site. And up along the church, on this side, there's several. They're not recorded. You get a lot of hits on them. Along the wall, 2 feet out. A series of them. So anywhere in here, you're going to hit something, you know, because there are other burials in here. And I plotted pretty much everything so far that I can find. I haven't done that much this year.
Is there a reason why there's a space between the Barbara Heck stones?
Haven't doused it yet.
I was always curious why there's a stone.
Oh, right there? I thought you had to accept this spot.
Very well for the stuff in there too.
Yeah. Yeah, I have burials in here, so that's perfect. Right in here.
Yeah, it seems to be missing stones.
Like, but just have one in your mind. Stone, there's a stone here. It should hit. See, that's very short. That's very short. You could very well be a stone. Something from a new. I'll have to do this on Monday morning. It's not raining. Find out what's here.